Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by our friends at Gateway Buick GMC. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway because their slogan is Gateway's Got It. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new Buicks, GMCs, and GM certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a car dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to Gateway Buick GMC, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule your delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway Buick GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaybuickgmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. Experience the new Buick. And welcome to episode 164 of The Mom Game. I'm Emily Jones. She's Julie Dobbs. We are still in our respective homes, but we will have a new home very, very soon. In fact, we have a home. We just don't have a desk, some, I don't know, minor things like equipment, some cameras, a few cameras, some lights, some microphones. We got chairs. We got a cool neon sign coming. We've got shit going on. It's just not quite ready yet. So we've got a couple more weeks of us being separate. And then we're going to reunite and embrace and love each other and cheers with wine in person. It'll be here soon. But bear with us for the next couple of weeks. Julie, before we get any further, before I let you say a single word, I want to talk about the fact that Cinco de Mayo is coming and Yo Quiero is here to save the day. That's why I've got my Yo Quiero goodies behind me. Our sweet friend Tara sent over some margs in a thing. So I poured one up, put it on ice. So check out Yo Quiero. I need to show you this. So Tara sent over these, our friend Tara from Yo Quiero sent over all these kind of goodies. And it arrived at my house, I guess like last Friday. So I go to get it out today. Hattie, this is what Hattie did. Oh my gosh. She demolished the
Yes. She loved those.
So I was like, well.
She loved those.
She loves the Yo Quiero salsa.
Those authentic flavors and the premium ingredients.
And she's already put a dent in the guacamole too.
A dip.
She put a dent in the guacamole.
You can say that she put a dip in the dip,
anyway. She put a dip in the dip. She put a dent in the dip. And and another breaking news. I used to swear I could not find Yo Quiero at the Tom Thumb that I shop at. And then Tara gave us these coupons. And so I told Miss Vicky, who was going to the grocery store today, I'm like, look for this salsa and see if you can find it. She found it. So I have more.
Awesome.
Coming. But
we love it.
Yeah.
And we love
We
love Yo Quiero, and we love working with them ahead of Cinco de Mayo, because if you're wondering about how you're going to celebrate, where you're going to get the goods, what you're going to use Yo Quiero. They're your ultimate dip destination for all of your Cinco de Mayo needs. And like Emily said, there's all kinds of stuff. I got this delicious queso here that she sent, and I am a queso snob, and I love this queso. They have the traditional. They also have the white queso.
That's another one. Hattie put the half of the queso blanco's already crushed.
The queso blanco might be a personal favorite.
Big hit in them
and bean dips, in case you haven't ever tried the bean dip. They've got it all. Pairs well with your Fritos or whatever it is that you want to dip in your bean dip. And yes, Tara was so sweet to send us some margs. So we love you, Yo Quiero. We are super pumped to work with them once again. Premium ingredients, Texas company, authentic flavors. They are your dip destination. Anytime you're like, I need some dips, the next thing you think should be Yo Quiero. Thank you, Yo Quiero, once again for all of your support.
Yes. Muchas
This is our Cinco de Mayo party. I don't know if you can do that anymore.
So we got lots to get to today. We got, okay. We've got, okay, I won't do it
anymore. I can do that.
Okay. So we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got 2 guests, which is super exciting. One is a doctor who is going to walk us through all the embarrassing shit that's going on in our lives with being a woman. I had a hot flash in the Rangers clubhouse on Sunday. It was
this is a
something.
thing. Yeah, because you had a hot flash on our last episode, right when it started, and then you had a hot flash in the clubhouse. So it wasn't a one-off or anything like that.
Yeah. And so it was like I had a jacket on, and then I quickly like took the jacket off and tied it around my waist, and then I was fanning myself and walking around, and Kennedy Landry, who bless her heart is the only other woman in there, but she's like 23 or 4. She's just a baby, so she doesn't even. I mean, she has no clue about menopause. And she was like, "Are they okay? Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, just hot flash, no big deal." She was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then someone overheard, I can't remember who it was, and they were like, "Are you old enough for that?" And I'm like, "Oh, sugar, I am plenty old for it, and I only have one ovary, so yeah."
Never know what you're going to get with both of us, and that's why we are having Dr. Palmer on soon.
Yes, excited to have her on to clear up some things. Okay, I wanted to ask you, I heard your big announcement on the radio, on your super awesome show, The Speakeasy, of which now I'm a regular guest weekly, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Thanks to Gateway BF GMC for sponsoring that. So you've started a new like weight loss.
Yeah,
thing.
I have. I am.
And you're doing intermittent fasting.
It is intermittent fasting. That is part of it. It is, I'm on day 2. It's with Texas Weight Loss. And I think they're going to work with us here on the podcast and like be official sponsors of my weight loss journey here on the podcast. It came through iHeart, but now that our iHeart show or our Mom Game show is also on iHeart, I think it even works out well for sponsors. So anyway, I'll be talking about it on the radio throughout my journey, but basically in a nutshell, and I'll detail it more when we bring them on board, but it is intermittent fasting. Basically my thing is 8 p.m. to 12, or it's 7 to 11. I can adjust it, as you know. That's part of it. And then it's basically like protein veggies at lunchtime, protein veggies, 3.5 ounces of protein and veggies at dinner time. Oh, and berries. And then there's a few like free snacks that are just like vegetables. I've found that my free snack is going to be bell pepper because I don't like a lot of the free snack vegetables, but I like that. So I'm like, I can do bell pepper, like cut up every day, like 3, because I usually want something after I bring the kids home from school. So far, so good. I'm 1 day in. Working on 2 days, but I feel like it's something that I can do, and they're wonderful over there. So I can't wait to tell you more about them. And Dr. Nick, who's already texted me because he can see my weigh in, and he's like, "You're doing great," So I think it's just having that like accountability and that structure. That's what I really needed. And I tell myself to make it through. I'm like, you've had your fun and you will again, like you've had lots of booze and lots of this and that and whatever you really want, pizza, chips, queso, all that. So I want to prove to myself that I can do this for 60 days. And then it'll be hopefully just in time for swimsuit season.
Okay, I haven't been able to hear you for like a minute because my front doorbell rang and it called my phone and got it on my AirPods. So now I can't hear you.
I was just talking about my diet. Can you hear me now?
To not be able to hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
I'm assuming you can hear me.
I can hear you.
This is the wonders of technology. This is amazing. For some reason, I'm not hearing.
You need to probably switch your
listening
down at the bottom. Go back to your AirPods.
Hello.
Hello.
This is so awkward. This is not good podcasting. This is terrible news for everyone. Okay, let's do this, Julie.
Yeah.
I know you can hear me, so let's get ready for sports and talk about our friends at Bottle Rover and Noble Vines, and let's get into the sports while I try to figure out what the heck is going on with my speaker and why I can't hear you because you can clearly hear me.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll get it figured out. I'm going to be talking for a while, so you'll know if I can pop back up in your ears. But yes, we have a lot of sports to talk about right now. The Dallas Stars, the Texas Rangers, the NFL draft just happened, but we can't talk about it without the help of our sponsors, our friends over at Bottle Rover and Noble Vines. I had a good call with Bottle Rover recently. We're going to work on them on a lot of other things, or work with them on a lot of other things. Love those guys over there, and what their product is something that can be very useful to anybody, especially a busy mom or dad that just wants some booze and they want it right now and they don't want to leave their house and they don't want to add another task to their list. With Bottle Rover, you can save time and gas, by the way, by getting your drinks delivered for free. With a $50 minimum, you will get your drinks delivered for free. You can use Bottle Rover to help get whatever your favorite kind of booze is. They'll go to the local place near you, so you are still supporting local. You can shop multiple local stores via Bottle Rover. You can browse the live inventory, compare pricing, and that much more, and then select what you want from the comfort of your own home on an app. Bottle Rover can fetch your drinks for free when you spend $50. And they also have this really cool app in the party planning app. It is there on the Bottle Rover app. And if you say, like I know I'm having a party May 24th for Anna's birthday, and perhaps it's a party that you also want some stuff for the moms for. So I know I'm going to need some wine. I think you can also get like some hors d'oeuvres, like you said, you've done it before, some snacks, whatever it is at the particular store that Bottle Rover is shopping at. You can set it all ahead of your party. So like on May 24th, the morning of, I could have this all set to be delivered to my house. I could do it today. Take that off my list. In fact, I think I'm going to. So there's a lot of cool things that Bottle Rover is doing. We're super excited to work with them. As always, get that Bottle Rover app on your phone if you don't have it already. And if you use Bottle Rover, let us know. Send us a picture of your little delivery or whatever it is that you want to show us. Show us what you're drinking. We hope you're drinking Noble Vines, who are also a part of today's show. We love our friends at Noble Vines. They've been with us for a while. They aim to bring out the best in wine and people. That's why we love them, because they really do give back to the community. They have a deep-rooted desire for good. In fact, they're the proud sponsor of No Kid Hungry, which is working to end child hunger in America by ensuring that all children get the healthy food that they need every day to thrive. If you're interested in finding out more about that, you can go to nokidhungry.org. They're also the official wine partner for the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth. That's going on May 25th through May 28th. They have all kinds of delicious wine, the 337 Cabernet Sauvignon, 446 Chardonnay, 667 Pinot Noir, and the new Marquis Red. So you can enjoy it when you're at home, at your favorite restaurant or bar, or at that golf tournament. You must be 21 or over. NobleVines.com. Please drink responsibly. We love Noble Vines. It's become my go-to. Anytime at the grocery store, it's a good price point. It's delicious. Then you're done. You don't have to browse around at all. Just show me where the Noble Vines is. That's what I'm going to be buying. And we love them and we thank them for their partnership. You're
Boom.
back.
We're back, bitches.
We are back, bitches.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope you can come over for Colonial. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
We can have a mom game.
Yeah, I would love it. We'll talk about it.
Okay, we've buried the lead. The Stars are moving on.
Yes, they are. The Dallas Stars opening up I'm hearing myself. It is not good. An echo. Here we go. Maybe this will be better. The Dallas Stars opening up their second round series with the Seattle Kraken. That is starting this week. This is Tuesday, May 2nd, and we have game one. They do have home ice advantage because they have a better record than Seattle from the regular season. And I'm super pumped. I really thought we'd be... Like I talked about, I was nervous a little bit during the first round early on. And then I thought if we did advance, I figured we'd be playing Colorado. Colorado is the defending Cup champions, and they're really good and they're pretty scary. But Seattle was able to knock them out. And now we are playing the Seattle Kraken. So I hope Dallas is ready. We are going to need some really loud arenas. I think it's going to be a really good series. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 6 or 7 games. From what I hear about Seattle from my husband, who's on the coaching staff, like basically the deal with them is that they're a very deep team. They're a really fast team. They're going to try and like get off to a track meet with us, which I think we can hang, but completely different from what we saw with Minnesota, who were just like that large, heavy physical presence and tried to slow our game down. I think we can keep up with Seattle, but that's not like necessarily our game. We want to move the puck quickly, and we want to be in control, and we want to control the possession most of the time. But I think it's going to be a really, really good, fun matchup. So I'm pumped for it. And it's just really fun to have the whole city buzzing about the Dallas Stars, because it's always a big deal in my world, but I feel like most of the time people don't really care. They're like, they ask me like politely, like, oh, how are the Stars doing? And then they like start talking about something else and they don't really listen to my answer, but they're just trying to be nice. Now people are really caring.
So I'm wondering, like, when somebody does ask, how are the Stars doing? Do you like talk for like 4 straight minutes and not come up for air? You're like, well, let me tell you how they're doing. Like, the goalie play has been on point, but the power play has struggled a little bit. Penalty kill is on point. Like, do you break it all down? And they're like, okay.
I gauge the audience based on who I'm talking to. If it's a fellow mom, I'm like, oh yeah, they're pretty good. Might make the playoffs. Oh man, it's tough with soccer practice. I got to be, and I shift gears pretty quickly because I know they're not really that interested. But when it comes to the moms asking me about it, they're interested in it by saying like, how long do you have to single parent? And so I do appreciate that because the moms understand. The dads are like wanting to talk hockey. The moms are like, how are you doing? Are you hanging in there? So I get it. And I appreciate the concern because I need it. I need all the concern right now because I thought I was done. And now I'm in the playoff.
But listen, you can do this. You can do this for 4 more weeks if it takes winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
You can.
The good news is that since it's the playoffs, like my parents are coming in town this weekend, they want to see a game. And so then I get some help so I can bribe people with playoff tickets to come help me with my life. Yeah.
Nice. That's a good trade. Help me with my life. You get playoff
Exactly.
tickets.
So the only good thing about the Stars playing late, it's supposed to be 8:30 puck drops on Tuesday and Thursday, but we know they're not going to get started till like 8:50 or so. But the my baseball games have been going so quickly that I should be able to watch like at minimum the third period and maybe even part of the second period as well from the comfort of my couch. I'm so excited.
That's amazing.
So yay,
so
Stars.
The late starts work out well for you.
For me, I'm totally selfish with it.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Rangers, we're doing all right, Julie. It's May, and we logged 17 wins in the month of April. It has been a long, long time since that's happened. And I think, going into the season, you made all these acquisitions over the last 2 seasons that on paper, you're like, okay, this year they could make some waves. They could do some things. It's one thing to have it on paper. It's another thing to be able to execute on the field. And that's exactly what they've done. It's been super fun to watch up close. The chemistry that this team has is unbelievable. Bruce Bochy is awesome. I mean, they have it hasn't been easy. Corey Seager's out of the lineup, has been for a couple of weeks. Mitch Garver's been out of the lineup for even longer than that. Jacob deGrom is on the IL. Hopefully that will only last for 15 days. He's got inflammation in that right elbow. But this team seems to really implore the next man up mentality. The offense continues to click without Garver and Seager. The rotation, it's still early, but the bullpen's been strong outside of that hiccup in Cincinnati. And so they're fun to watch. I mean, they score a ton of runs. They've got good pitching. Defense has been solid. So it's a lot of fun. You cannot win a pennant in April, but you can sure as hell lose one. And the Rangers they've done their part. I mean, they put together, even when you think about where they could be if they would have just taken 1 or 2 in Cincinnati instead of getting swept, but whatever, that's the way baseball go. And so I'm excited for May. It'll be a big test. There's only 8 home games, I should say, in the month of May for the Rangers. So we'll learn a lot about this team this time next month. So I'm excited to see it all play out.
Still leading the division, right?
Yep. First place Texas Rangers. So yeah,
first place Texas
super
Rangers.
Exciting.
I just want to beat the Astros in the standings. That's what I want.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in on that too. If you're beating the Astros in the standings, you're probably going to be pretty damn good. So I'm all on board.
Yeah, exactly.
One other thing I want to talk about real fast, sports wise, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? The cool moment, Deuce Vaughn. The Cowboys drafted Deuce Vaughn, which the running back out of Kansas State, 5'5" guy, super shifty running back. I mean, led the nation in everything when he was at K-State. All-American, like stud player. He's sitting there in the 6th round. The Cowboys draft him. I had no idea that his dad was on the coaching staff, or he's a scout for the Cowboys. And usually stuff like that looks super contrived and kind of cheesy. I thought this was one of the coolest moments I've ever seen that the Cowboys pulled off. And it wasn't like some sort of pity pick. It wasn't, just to be nice to his dad. The dude is legit. Deuce Vaughn is legit. And to see that exchange between him, his dad, Chris, and Deuce was so stinking cool and gave me all the sports feels. If you have not seen it, just Google it. It's everywhere, all over the interwebs. But it was such a cool moment for father and son. And I just thought that was a really cool move by the Cowboys. And not that it was a cool move, it was a smart move. But, usually we get kind of geeked out on stuff like that. But I thought that was really effing cool.
Yeah. What did he say? He called his son and he said, Hey, Deuce, how'd you feel about coming to work with me tomorrow?
I know, and he's crying when he's saying it. And I was like,
and he was crying. It was so cute. And you could tell how genuinely happy Jerry was. And I think Jerry just he nails those calls, whether it's a son of somebody he works with or somebody else. He is very genuine at his core, I feel like.
For sure.
And so those calls always kind of give me the goosies. And you just think about it now as a mom too. Like if your son got a call like that.
And that's what I had heard him say. Chris, the father, was talking about how he had talked to him the day before and earlier in the day, and that Deuce was starting to kind of doubt himself. Like, maybe this isn't, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe no one views me in this way as an NFL player, all that kind of stuff. And, to watch your kids doubt themselves and to have that doubt creep into your mind, it's just heartbreaking. And so for you to completely transform that with a 30-second phone call as a parent had to be the most gratifying thing.
Oh my gosh.
Ever.
Yeah. We should try to get them on the show.
For sure.
Wouldn't they be good guests? Yeah.
They would be amazing.
Yeah. I know the Cowboys won't give us Dak or CeeDee Lamb or anything, but maybe we could score that one.
I'm on it. It's on my list. I got Dr. Palmer. Remember last week I put Dr. Palmer on our list. I needed a doctor to talk about all of the crazy shit we're going through as women. I was like, I'm putting it on my list. I'm getting us a doctor to talk. And guess what happened?
You deliver. Ask and you shall receive with Miss Emily Jones. One of the things I love about you. And she's great. She's the best. She laughed with us.
Okay, so we talked last week about some embarrassing things that have been happening to Julie and I, things that I feel like are exclusive to women. We're so lucky to have these things in our lives. So we decided to bring on an expert, which we will introduce her in just a moment. But first, it's a perfect time for me to tell you about an event that I am participating in, brought to us by Baylor, Scott & White. It's called Know Your Genes. It's a lively educational event for women of all ages. May 11th at Colonial Country Club, and it's hosted by Fort Worth, Texas Magazine and Baylor, Scott & White Health. Genes make a huge difference in your overall well-being, so you can learn what grandmothers, mothers, and daughters should know about their family health from this panel of lovely physicians. The morning will include breakfast and a fashion show to model the latest trends in jeans, not Genes, but Jeans, from local Fort Worth boutiques. Seating is limited, so register today. You can find the link on our link tree and our social media channels. Should be a super cool event. I'm excited to be a part of it. Thanks to Baylor, Scott & White. And also thanks to Baylor, Scott & White for bringing us Dr. Andrea Palmer, who is going to help us answer some of these lovely questions that we have about some slightly embarrassing things going on in our lives. So, Dr. Palmer, thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to start first. I'm going to start first because I had a hot flash in the Rangers clubhouse on Sunday. It was amazing. I do feel like it's probably a little early. I'm 45 for menopause, but I have one ovary because I had a hysterectomy. I have one ovary left. So is this what's happening to me? Is this perimenopausal? What's it called? What's happening?
Yes. Yeah. So perimenopause is likely where you are. And these symptoms of menopause, things like hot flashes and night sweats, if you had a uterus, irregular bleeding and periods, all of these things can happen for many women 5 or more years before actual quote unquote menopause happens. So menopause, it's going to be tough for you to tell if you've had a hysterectomy, because menopause by definition is the time when you've not had a menstrual period for one full entire year. Then like, congratulations, there you are in menopause. So when you don't have a uterus, like, it's hard to know when you're quote unquote done or in it or have arrived. But yeah, those symptoms can start 3 years before, and 52 is the average age of menopause. And so, some people are going to be on the early side of that. Some people are going to be on the later side of that, but it is certainly not unheard of to think that this could be like a perimenopausal phenomenon. Now, just having one ovary does not inherently mean that you're going to menopause sooner than you would have with the other one. Your one should still kind of keep you going for as long as you naturally would have if the other was still there.
Okay, so I'm just ahead of the curve. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm overachieving on perimenopause.
Yeah. And just so I can get in on the conversation, like, I'm somebody that's had a full hysterectomy, a full everything removed because of my elevated risk for ovarian cancer.
Right.
And so they said you could go straight into menopause. I'm on a tiny, tiny little hormone patch. Yeah. But at this point, like, I could have all that stuff too at any given time, right?
Right. So if you took off your hormone patch, you would likely just go straight into that. And so, yes, you are in official surgical menopause, Julie. Like, you are there. So.
I am there. Emily, if it would make you feel better for me to officially join you, then I would do that for you.
Yes, I appreciate it. I feel like this is making me feel better already, because I'm like 10 years older than you. So the fact that you're already hitting this stage makes me feel good.
Yes, I know. Dr. Palmer, we just feel like all the time we're like, oh my gosh, we're talking about this, we're talking about that, and we have no idea why things work the way they do, why we feel the way we do. Right? But one of the things that came up on last week's show, I don't know how to say this, but like peeing unintentionally, like Emily's is like a sudden urge to have to run to the restroom the second she's got to go. And mine is like, I'll be playing tennis and go for a shot, and all of a sudden pee.
So
and seems like everybody though we talk to is experiencing something similar.
Yeah, and you have just perfectly explained the two types of urinary incontinence. So there's the urge incontinence, and those are, remember, like the old gotta go commercials. So that is that. Like, where every bathroom is and every Target. Like you walk into a place and like you spy where the nearest restroom is, and like, because when you gotta go, man, like it is like now. And so that is where our bladder is kind of like essentially squeezing when we're not intending for it to. Like, our bladder should squeeze empty when we sit down on the toilet, but like it's sending that signal like at the inappropriate time of post. So that's like a nerve issue. You describe as more of what we call stress incontinence. So when we increase the pressure in our abdomen, laughing, coughing, sneezing, jumping, stretching, running for a ball, and we lose a little bit of urine. And that is more of like a muscular issue. So the good news is that there's ways to fix them both, which are super successful. There's some medication, some of it's surgical, some of it's procedural that we can do like in the office. And so there's lots of options and opportunity for improvement. For the urgency, this is, again, like those old gotta go commercials. There are medications that can help with urgent incontinence. The really unfortunate part of that is that they're pretty high on the side effect profile. Most of them cause a lot of dry mouth, a lot of constipation, and so the medicines like Detrol and Ditropan, and there's a newer one from Nervetrix that's better on the side effect profile, but it's $1,007,000, and most insurance companies won't cover it until you try the other two, and it's a lot of hoops to jump through, frankly. And it's costly, but it can be super effective for that urgency that I gotta go and I gotta get there now.
Okay, and here's another question. So I had 2 C-sections. I didn't have like vaginal births. And so I always thought that I was going to avoid all of this stuff. But I feel like now it's not even, it's the urgency. And then the closer I get to the bathroom, the more it's like,
you have to go.
here I come. Like,
Yeah.
get ready.
People
I
talk
know
about
we're closed.
yeah. People talk about
Basically,
really
we're both
specific
peeing our
triggers.
pants, Dr. Palmer. We both pee our pants.
Yeah, so there's like really specific triggers for a lot of people. Like a lot of women will talk about, and like not that many people unlock their front door with the key anymore, but like putting the key in the door at their home, and then it's just like, oh, there it goes. Like your body's like, it knows it's there. And I don't know. But yeah, so for the urgency, there's medications, and then there are some other modalities that are newer and that we're seeing some really good success with. Vaginal microneedling, which is exactly what you think it is.
No.
We are finding to be helpful with urge incontinence. Vaginal laser treatments can be really helpful for people. Also, actually for both urge and for stress incontinence. And so, and most women, right, like don't have completely one or the other, and there's a lot of overlap that exists. Like Emily, if you occasionally laugh, cough, or sneeze and pee a little bit, then you have some features of urge or of stress incontinence as well. And so, like there are some vaginal treatments that can help to kind of like rewire the bladder. And for the stress incontinence, that's typically where we talk about surgery, physical therapy, things to like strengthen the muscles in the vagina, so that when we're increasing our intra-abdominal pressure, our vaginal muscles can like push up against it and be like, nope, we're not thinking out right now. We're not where we need to be. And so, and then the vaginal slings, or the
Okay, that's what I was just about to ask. What is a vag sling?
Yeah, so a sling is helpful for the stress incontinence, right? That's the laughing, coughing, sneezing, jumping, because that helps for a mechanical, right? So Julie, you would be a great sling candidate.
Yeah, I laugh for a living, so it's a problem.
Right? But for urge incontinence, that's not the right treatment because it's not fixing the problem. The problem is the nerves to the bladder, not the strength of holding your bladder in. And so Emily's C-section sometimes are kind of a little bit preventative for that stress incontinence thing, right? Your muscles of your vagina didn't get blown out, like letting a 10-pound kid out of there. And so it's not that you are not strong enough to like keep your urine in. It's that your bladder is just sending those signals when it's not supposed to.
Okay, good to know. My muscles, my vag muscles, and my bladder are strong. I feel good about
so
this.
Can I get a vaginal sling on Amazon?
No, that's the surgery.
I don't think you can apply them yourself, Julie.
No, you have to have that surgically placed by a gynecologist, a urogynecologist, or a urologist. But there are some things that aren't surgical, Julie, that you could consider. Again, things like physical therapy to like strengthen the vaginal muscles. So that can be done through a physical therapist. A lot of gynecology offices like mine offer physical therapy here in our office for that. And again, those microneedling procedures that I talked about for urge also help with stress a little bit also. So there's definitely things you can do that don't sign you up for surgery. But it all just, depends on how bad it is and how much you want to fix it.
I've had so many surgeries. It's hard to go of another. I think I might just wear a diaper.
I will say
a little physical therapy would probably get you where you want to be.
Okay.
Julie is the one embarrassed of me when we have a guest, but you just asking if you could get a vag sling on Amazon to Dr. Palmer might be an all-time high, Julie.
Well, I just ordered this hair net for my daughter's dance recital. It's like a net, like a hair net, and that's kind of what I was picturing. I was picturing like a net, like a sling, like that would just catch.
Oh my god!
No,
hair nets,
I ordered the hair net.
Slings, like amazing.
Yeah. So there is, I will throw out there one thing that you could try. Like I know, like Julie, you don't have periods anymore, but sometimes like putting something in your vagina, like a tampon, can help like give you a little bit of support. And so like I definitely have patients who are like, oh, I just put a tampon in before I run, and I'm fine. And so there
like
are
a homemade remedy. Yeah,
exactly. So hey, give it a try.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Thank you. Yeah, because it's like something that I just. I could wear bad.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing.
Right? It's horrible. Yeah.
It's terrible.
But you know what? When we talked about this last week, we had so many people reach out and be like,
Dr. Palmer?
Oh, I said
She
I had
said
horrible
something.
incontinence, and I had a sling, and it was life changing.
You did?
I can jump, I can run, I can
Okay.
trampoline park with my kids, like all these things that I
Aw.
could not do beforehand.
So how long does it stay
Okay.
in?
Well, that's good to know.
Forever and ever, even.
Oh, forever. Does it impact the do-its?
No. So this is placed like, okay, I know we're a podcast, but if we're on video, so like here's your vagina, right, and then your urethra is right here. So you're peeing out of right here. It's a sling that essentially like lays right there, like it's like underneath the skin of your vagina and supports your urethra. And then it's anchored either like right behind your pubic bone or into this other fascia called your obturator. And so it's like, and then it just goes up there. You can't feel it. You shouldn't be able to see it or anything like that. And that mesh just gets kind of like incorporated into your body and it stays forever.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like we've learned a lot.
Hey, I have one last question
Julie,
for
I
you.
think you need to get a badge sling and test it out for us.
I will maybe, but I got to give myself some time. I'm surgeried out at the moment, but at some point, I think I will. I think I need to. So I just saw a headline, and I was wondering if this has ever happened to you, where Kelly Clarkson said that, like, when she was pregnant, she would text pictures of her hoo-ha to her gynecologist throughout the pregnancy to be like, how far along, or like, how much longer do you think? Have you ever gotten anybody that's sending you pictures like that and asking you questions on your phone?
So we do get a fair amount of pictures of like discharge and bleeding. And I'm just going to be real honest. We don't want to see it. We believe
Nobody wants to see those.
If you say it was bright green, I believe it was bright green. If you say it filled up the whole toilet, I don't need a picture. I trust you in your words. And I am not a person who needs visual confirmation.
God
okay,
bless
good. Well,
you.
we're going on the record. PSA from the mom game. Don't
wanna see
text
the
your
picture.
doctors pictures of your hoo-ha. That's what an appointment is for. They don't want that coming across their phone.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
feel
do
like
that.
we're doing a service to people. We've told men that women don't want the D pics, and now we're telling people we're telling women your OB-GYN does not want to see your vag pics. Okay. I feel like we've gotten a lot accomplished today, Dr. Palmer.
I bet you have a long list, though, Dr. Palmer. I know. I feel like you'll have to come back and we can let you have the floor and tell us like do's and don'ts with your gynecologist. Like,
I think
like don't eat beans before you go see them. Don't eat cheese. Don't eat beans. Anything that makes you gassy.
Julie, also take a shower. Showering is important before you go visit your gynecologist. Just saying. Julie had a shower problem too. She was having trouble remembering when she was showering.
This is not about me anymore. This is about Dr. Palmer.
Okay.
All
right. Well, this is officially gone
apologize for not shaving. It's like really.
What's that?
People always apologize for not shaving their legs. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not rubbing your legs.
Legs are one thing, but what about down there? I mean, probably want to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah. We'll just make do with whatever is in front of us, I promise.
She has no other choice. That's great. I wish that I lived near you and you could be my doctor.
Come on over.
I know. You were awesome.
Maybe we should just keep it like this.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Palmer, you're professional. Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm sure a million different things will come up and we'll have you back at some point in time to tell us all our embarrassing things.
Yes, but yeah,
thank you, Dr. Palmer.
Therapy, Julie, that would get you there before surgery. All right, guys.
You're the best.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Palmer.
Bye.
Okay, and I feel like this is a good time to remind everyone that this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. So, we spend a lot of time on other people, especially as moms. We spend time on our kids, on our husband, on all the things, work, everything. We don't spend enough time on ourselves. And so there's sometimes when you need to kind of balance things, take care of yourself while you're also taking care of other people. It's easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you, but we really need to take the time to think about what you need from yourself. So when you spend all this time going and going and going, you can feel stretched thin and burned out. I know I have been there before. I know Julie's been there before. We may be in the midst of it right now, especially Julie, with a husband traveling all the time. Therapy can give you the tools, though, to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. And so that's why we have partnered with BetterHelp to spread the word about their amazing services and how with just one click of a mouse, you can jump online. You can get the services of a licensed professional to help you through those times, to give you just kind of an unbiased audience to just vent, talk, and have someone listen to you instead of you always being the one to listen. So be sure to check out BetterHelp. It's betterhelp.com/momgame. Proud to partner with them. It's a great service that they provide, and it really does make this mental health piece of our healthcare journey super accessible by not having to go to a doctor. You can do it from the comfort of your home. Just hop online and check them out at betterhelp.com/momgame. So thanks to BetterHelp.
Yes, big thanks to them. Make it easy for you. Do it all from home, which I love. From one amazing badass mom to another, we are welcoming in a friend of mine. This is Mallory Martin. Mallory and I actually go way back because you used to work for the Dallas Stars when I was covering the team, and you knew Kelly and me from that. And then coincidentally, we live in the same neighborhood. Our kids started going to the same school, so I see her all the time. But since her time with the Dallas Stars, she has launched a really amazing company that we are here to talk all about, along with another initiative that you have coming up. But Mallory, first of all, just thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's super, super fun to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, I love when these kind of things work out, and like someone out in the wild in real life is somebody very badass that you want to bring onto your Mom Game podcast. So this worked out really well. Just first of all, I guess if you can take us quickly kind of through your journey from working in the corporate sports world. I know it was a big decision to leave the Stars and kind of branch out and start your own things, and I feel like now it's going really well.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that. Faking it till you make it, right? But I spent 9 years in the sports industry, worked for a company called Learfield Sports, which does college sports marketing, was with Learfield for 5 or 6 years. Loved the company, wanted to get professional sports experience after the college market. So got to sell corporate advertising for the Stars for a few years, met incredible people like Julie and the entire staff. Loved it. I loved the sports industry, loved the action, loved the pace, loved everything about it. Had kids and wasn't loving the nights out, as both of you know. So I just was starting to think of is sports the long-term industry that I'm going to be working in? Even though I loved it so much, I did end up finding a nonprofit that I fell in love with called International Justice Mission, which is an anti-slavery organization. So they work to rescue victims of slavery and fix broken justice systems. So I spent 7 years with a nonprofit doing fundraising and also working with professional athletes that wanted to partner with the organization. So I had a lot of relationships with pro athletes across the country that liked the work of IJM and wanted to support it in some way. And through my work with IJM, I met survivors of slavery in South Asia that needed work. So they were no longer enslaved in modern day slavery, but they really needed ongoing sustainable work. And so I started a company about 2 years ago called Mended. And that's what I'm doing today.
Okay. So tell me about Mended. Tell us about Mended. What does it do? How does it work?
So we work with right now 23 men and women who have been trained on this art of block printing, which I knew nothing about until 2.5 years ago. It's when a wooden block is carved, hand chiseled into whatever design I send them. That wooden block, actually, I have this example, which is actually hysterical. I bought this when I was in India for my
Oh,
son.
cool.
It's a tiger, but it's the only one in my house right now that I have as an example. So there is a master artisan in India who hand carved this thing. And this is the only example I have. But we have mended designs that are carved into wood, dipped into dye, and then printed over any number of home goods. So we have tea towels, dinner napkins, table runners, men's pocket squares, any textile that you can imagine. We are training these survivors on how to block print, and then they're block printing products for them, and then we are selling them over here in the States. So that's Mended in a nutshell. We're working to train and give employment to as many survivors as possible over in South Asia.
Wow. That is so cool.
That's the nutshell of Mended.
It's so cool. I love that you met the people and then kind of had the idea like, okay, they need work. How can I help? And how can I help them get work? And now you have this company. It's amazing. Yeah. How does the training work out when you're trying to train people overseas on this block printing?
Sorry, it cut out just then. Can you say it one more time, Julie?
Yeah, I just said, how do you do the training process when you're trying to train people overseas on the block printing and kind of get this thing going? It has to be a challenge.
Oh, yeah. It is. And honestly, I don't know how to block print. I have zero skills. This is not what I'm good at. We found a trainer near where the survivors live that had been doing this for 30 years. And we hired him to spend time walking alongside the survivors and train them. So we work with a local trainer that does it. And we're constantly identifying new survivors who are ready for work. We have 23 men and women that are working, but our hope by the end of 2024 is to have 100 survivor artisans that are receiving regular orders from us. We'll see how that goes, but that's the goal.
Wow, that's awesome.
So how do you, I mean, do you have boots on the ground there? How big is your company? Like, how does this whole thing work?
Yeah, so the nonprofit that I worked for has a team based there. They are helping the survivors run their own business. So I am not employing these folks. I am paying per piece. So I send a purchase order over. I've got a business partner based in India who's kind of my middleman. I placed a purchase order with him. He finds material, gets the blocks made, and executes the order, and then he exports the goods over to me. So actually my role is pretty simple in this. I'm placing purchase orders and then they're exporting the product. I will say that I call Mended a social impact brand. So we're for profit. We are not a nonprofit because I'm hoping to help prove that the for-profit world can make a global impact also. It doesn't always have to be the nonprofits of the world. And the hope is that these orders are going to the survivors, letting them build their own businesses so that they can be economically empowered on their own, and they can get local orders if they want. That's kind of the way it works.
Wow. It's amazing. It's so cool, Mallory. How are the products like being received? Because I know I've bought some from you. I think they're beautiful. And I know you're trying to get them into stores. Is that kind of like the next step of all of this?
Yes, 100%. So we're obviously selling online. We're selling through social media and our website, e-commerce. But the goal is large wholesale partnerships. So the goal would be to partner with a Magnolia, right?
Yeah.
And not just have them carry a Mended brand, but have them have their own line that we manufacture for them. So cool. They've got their goods, they have their style, they have their aesthetic. They're just using us to hand block print a collection that they could then say, these are hand block printed by survivors. Who cares if it's Mended? I don't care if it's Mended, but wouldn't it be cool if we had these large partnership orders? Because that means more work for the survivors, right? Like that's the goal, is more and more orders for the survivors. I don't care if it's the Mended brand that's everywhere. I care about the order size. That's kind of the next, that's the goal. Like, yes, selling online. Yes, I want everyone who listens to this to go check us out and buy their Mother's Day gifts. But the goal of the game is what can a large wholesale order look like?
So how do you get the word out about it? I had a baby gear manufacturing company years and years ago, and that was the hardest thing and now it's a lot, so much is social media driven.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can only do so much with social media. If you're looking for those partnerships, like the Magnolias and all that kind of stuff, how are you tackling that aspect of this business?
That is the question I lay awake at night thinking about, Emily. It's like, okay. And honestly, what I've learned a lot of things in starting a business over the last 2 years. So many things, but like top of that list is that relationships actually are everything. Like every partnership that I have as a goal, turns out I'm one person away from that type of relationship. Like it's actually astonishing how close everything can be if you just start to ask your friends for help, right? Like reach out and you're like, hey, do you have a connection here? Hey, do you think you can make an introduction to this person that I know you know? Like it is vulnerable in asking your friends for that introduction. Like they're using their social capacity to make a connection for you. But everyone's been so generous with their network that like that is my strategy actually is making connections with people that I already know and having those conversations.
And isn't that so true? It's so hard. I think just for a lot of people, for men, women, children, whatever. But especially for like, I feel like driven type A, like my personality. It's really hard to be like, I really need your help. Like I need you. It's a hard thing to say. It's a hard thing to admit, and I don't know why it's that way. Because like for me, I love helping people. Like I really do. Like I get genuinely happy to help someone. I get excited when they show gratitude and all that kind of stuff. It makes me feel so good to help that it's like, why am I such a weirdo about asking other people for help?
Right. And honestly, I struggled with this a lot, to be super honest, this fear of it becoming about me, that I put me in the fear category for a really long time of not doing things that would be helpful for Mended because I was afraid of my own ego. And I recently had a conversation with a dear friend of mine who was like, you have to evaluate your opportunities. Are you not doing something or doing something based out of fear or based out of freedom? Like, if I want this thing to grow, which I do, like, put it out there, right? Like, that's how this came up of like, okay, I am ready to tell this story because who knows who might be listening and who might think this is a cool idea, and really being vulnerable and asking for help and saying, yeah, I really think this is a cool story and I want everyone to know about it. But it's vulnerable. It's a really interesting spot to be in.
Yeah. And I know I've even asked you, like, because I think we need to do that. We need to tap into each other's networks. Like, we work hard to build a network, right? And if that can help,
That's right.
if I can leverage that for a friend and vice versa, like I asked you, because I knew you might have a lead on an athlete who would be interested in doing a podcast when we were trying to get the Dub Network together. Mallory had some great suggestions, and it's like, why not? Let's just work together. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with the podcast, with the Mom Game, bring on people that have a wonderful story to tell. And so I'm so glad that this worked out. And if anybody is listening who wants to reach out to Mallory, how can they find you if they want to go check out your products? And then of course, reach out to you about like any sort of business inquiry.
Oh, thanks, Julie. That's so sweet. We have a website. It's mended.co, not com. That was taken and it costs a whole lot of money to buy that back. So it's mended.co. And then obviously Instagram, mended_co. That's the best way to find us. But would love for y'all to check us out. I'm excited about all the work that you're doing. The two of you are just heroes in this space of full-time working moms who are trying to highlight other moms and highlight what it can be like and how big of a blessing it is to work and nurture our families. And it's just fun to watch y'all crush it. I love it.
That's very sweet. And same to you, Mallory. And speaking of, I know you're a part of an upcoming market that I'm going to have a presence at one way or another. I want to be involved with it, and I want the mom game to be involved with it because I think this is really cool. The May market coming up at the Village, and it's going to be like all mom-owned businesses, moms sitting around at school pickup or dance or whatever who start talking like, well, I'm doing this and you're doing that. Why don't we all get together and have a badass market / party? Tell us a little bit more about it now that I've already explained a lot.
You basically did it. You did a great sales pitch. It's been one of the coolest things starting your own business and realizing there are so many of us moms who are entrepreneurs because we're like, you know what, how can I crush this? How can I work and have flexibility? There are so many. And so this market is Thursday, May 11th, 2 different time frames, 9 to 2 and then 5 to 9 p.m. with 12 or 13 mom-owned small businesses that are just the coolest. It ranges from jewelry to linens to art to mahjong accessories. I will say that it is the perfect time because it is 3 days before Mother's Day. So you can get all of your shopping done for Mother's Day, but it also is focused on mahjong, which if anyone is listening and has not played mahjong, it is sweeping the South. It's the coolest game. And so each vendor that's participating has a mahjong item of some sort. So it's got this mahjong thread in the market, but it also has a ton of other stuff. So it's a full day shopping event full of incredible women who are running their own gig.
I love it. I love that you all came together for this.
I just learned, I just learned how to play mahjong this winter, and I'm still not very good. I've probably played like 10 times total, but it's addictive and it's so fun.
Yep.
It's super overwhelming in the beginning, but once you get the hang, it's kind of one of those things where you could read a million books about it. You have to learn by doing. Like you have to sit down and actually play it, and until you get the hang of it. But it's super fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
It kind of feeds my competitive spirit. It's not just a chit chat all night and casually play cards. It's nope, you got to be thinking, your brain is in tune and there's a strategy to it. And it's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, Mallory, it's been so good to have you on finally. I've kind of been wanting to for a while just because I know about all the cool stuff that you're doing. I love the story behind Mended, and I hope that it can grow, and I hope you get to talk to Chip and JoJo, and I hope you can take over the world with Mended.
Yeah. You know what? Here's a start. Thank you. Thanks for being on my team. Y'all are awesome.
100%. Thank you for coming on. And again, the May market, Thursday, May 11th, the Mom Game will be helping to promote on social media. We'll also throw up some information about Mended and a few clips from this so it can get out into the social media world. But this has been really awesome, Mallory. Thank you so much.
And wait, where again's the Mom Market on May 11th?
Oh, good question. The Village. So the Village, in Dallas, incredible apartment complex, just redid their entire area of restaurants and retail and a hotel. It's called The Village in Dallas near 75. And there's, I have an office space there now, a showroom of sorts. And so we're hosting it in a few of those spaces.
Awesome.
Fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Okay. So Mallory gets to close it out with us, right, Em?
Yep. We appreciate you so much, Mallory. Best of luck to Mended. It sounds like an awesome thing. I'm going to check it out. Perfect, like you said, for Mother's Day, and doing good work while running a business. I approve. Not that you needed my approval, but
thank you.
In case you did.
I appreciate it.
Endorsed. You're endorsed by the Mom Game.
That's right. Mom Game
1, 2, 3. Mom Game out.
Mom Game out.